Hey foodie friends, what are we gonna make today? I'm gonna make cheeseburger soup. So here's my cast of characters, and my assistants are this cute little turkey that a friend made for me once, and this cute little guy. So let's get started. So you're gonna wanna have either beef stock or broth. I like the stock because it's just more flavorful. And when you do buy it from the box or whatever, get it salt-free if you can, because you're gonna add a bunch of stuff to your liking. Or you can use chicken stock or broth. And in this case, I happen to have leftover beef stock from my pot roast that I made a few months ago, and it freezes really well, so I thawed it out. That's already got seasonings, so we're gonna still talk about seasonings that I normally would use. But if you have a seasoned stock, just taste everything first and then you can add. Today I'm using ground chicken thighs that I grinded myself. Is it grinded or ground? Anyways, I like chicken thighs because they're a little bit fattier, it holds a lot more flavor. Or you can use ground beef or ground turkey, whatever you like. And then mustard, yes, because mustard goes on cheeseburgers. Mayonnaise, that's gonna help make it nice and creamy. Ketchup. You can do a regular, like a tomato from fresh, or those little canned petite diced tomatoes, because I'm gonna dice this up. And a potato that I'm also gonna dice up nice and small, or you could get the canned diced potatoes, which I just didn't have on hand, and I had this on hand. And this is gonna represent the French fries. And it's really good in the soup, almost any soup, right? And don't worry, I'm not using a whole stick of butter. I'm just gonna use part of it, enough to cook down the onions, the potato, and the tomato. Ground cumin. That's good on so many things. Seafood, chicken, steak, doesn't matter. It's delicious, try it. Onion powder. These have no sodium. See, these are no sodium, so you can kind of go crazy with this. This does have sodium, so that's why I'm gonna try my stock first and then add, but normally I would add seasoned salt. And I've also got some filtered water standing by, or you can just use whatever water, sink water. Gotta have some milk, that's to add to the creaminess. And in the end, the husband might want to throw in some croutons on top, kind of represent the hamburger bun. I'm gonna serve it with a side of cornbread. And by the way, I did a comparison of all different kinds of cornbread. You'd have to go back and look, not too far. It was a few months ago, but yeah, this was one of the better ones that was in my pile. So definitely check that out. So I'm gonna dice all this up and I'll see you over at the stove. Okay, so in goes some butter. Get that melted down and start dicing up our vegetables. And I chose to peel my potato because I'm not a fan of potato skins. My husband likes them, but I'm not. But you can leave the skin on if you like it. And by the way, this is going to be a one-pot meal, so you don't have to do a ton of dishes, because after I put the tomatoes in, I'm going to put the chicken in as well. It's all going to cook at the same time till it's done. And if you do go with the canned diced tomatoes, I would do the petite diced, so you don't have big, huge chunks of tomato. And if you notice, we're not putting any seasonings in yet. The seasonings will come after I have put the stock in, but sometimes I have enough seasonings in my stock that I don't need to add anything. So let's see how that goes. And how much burger do you put in? I don't know, about this much. It's whatever you want. If you're light on the budget, or you just have a couple people you're feeding, maybe do less. If you got a big family, maybe do more. And you can also keep the leftovers in the fridge, and you might even freeze it. I've even frozen chili, and that was really good. So take a look at my recent chili video that I did. So I've got the heat up to about medium. I'll probably go a little bit closer between medium high till it gets going really good. And then I'll cover it. And you want to come back time to time just to make sure that everything is cooking along, and you just stir it as you go. What I do when I'm using utensils that get on the raw meat, I'll usually wash them off as I go along, just to make sure none of the raw gets back into the finished. They know that Santa's on his way. He's loaded lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh. And every mother's child is gonna spy to see if reindeer really know how to fly. And so I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92, yeah. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas to you. So it's starting to cook down a little bit. See, it's starting to get a little brown on parts of it, so we want to keep stirring it around. And if you got other things to do, just set a little timer, set it on your stove, or I've got the old-fashioned timer. I love this thing. I don't trust the ones on stoves and stuff. And I've mentioned this before, but in the last couple years, I learned that using 2 spatulas is way easier to stir stuff than with 1 little spoon or even 2 spoons. So you can kind of get under and flip and turn like so. I like to flatten it out just so everything gets kind of an even cook. It's kind of like cooking and steaming at the same time. I'm going to wash these again, and this time I won't be singing. So it's been about 15 minutes. I'm going to check it again. Doesn't that look good? It's already looking good. I haven't even put everything in it yet. And of course the burger's breaking up nicely as you mix it around. Just give it some stabs and jabs and break it up real good so every bite will have burger in it. Potatoes are starting to look a little more tender too. I'm gonna make sure that the vegetables are done and the meat's all done before I put the broth or the stock and the other stuff in it. And by the way, if you look online and you search cheeseburger soup, so far most of the people I saw, they also put carrots and celery in it. Now let me ask you, do you put carrots and celery on your cheeseburger? No. So just any old soup would have that in it, but the idea is to keep it on the theme of a cheeseburger. Pretty amazing, right? All right, so I'm gonna check one of these potatoes, see how its tenderness is. It's getting tender, it still has a little bit more to go. I can tell by looking at the onions, they're almost there too. Let's see, here's an onion. Almost there. I'm gonna let it go about another 15 minutes because I want it to be nice and tender. I don't want crunchy soup. All right, everything looks done. Now I'm going to put in the broth and some milk and some cheese. And then if we need, we'll put some of the seasonings in, because again, you would need those seasonings if we didn't have seasoned broth. So I'm not going to put too much in because I don't know just how salty it is. You can always add, but you can't take away. Put a little bit of water in, not too much. And I can't, give you measurements because kind of like this, by the way, is just a little fat layer on the top of the sauce. You want that. That's good stuff. It'll melt down. But yeah, I don't give cups and ounces and all those things because it could be different for every dish. But you just kind of know, like when you're putting things together, you can go, oh, I want more water, or I need more milk, or whatever. I want it to be cheesier. You can also buy powdered cheese, which is kind of like what they put in the mac and cheese boxes, and add that too. But I'm just trying to keep everything as natural as possible. Remember, I'm going to add some mayonnaise, mustard, and ketchup too. So we're just adding a little at a time to see how things go. I don't want to put too much mustard, just enough that you can taste it a little bit. Get your ketchup in there, and that's going to give it a nice color too. A decent amount of ketchup. And again, we'll season and add things as we go. The mayonnaise is both for a little bit of flavor, and even if you, like I just said in my recent video about how I did turkey loins a few days ago, even if you got somebody that does not like mayonnaise, when it's in recipes like this, they pretty much won't notice it. It just gives it a nice little flavor and a nice extra creaminess to it. You just give it a little mixy. See how it's going to start to break down? Kind of like how some people put sour cream and stuff. It's kind of the same idea. So I've got it on like a between low and medium right now because we don't want to scorch anything. But look at that color. Look how it's starting to look really pretty. Really good. I haven't taste tested it yet, so we're not putting anything else in it yet. Just the basics. Okay, because everything is cooked, we can safely taste test. I'm just going to hit the top a little bit. So I'm glad I didn't pour any more stock in there. It's just the right amount. I'll probably put a little bit more milk. I'm just going to put a tad of the seasoned salt because I already have that in the stock. A little bit more onion powder would be good because I have onion powder in the original stock too. Again, go back and look at my pot roast video or videos, might be a couple of them over time, and you'll see how I make it. And just a little bit more cumin, just get a little bit more of that neat flavor that cumin gives. I can't really describe it, but if you've gone to those Peruvian chicken places where they do the rotisserie chickens, that's where I discovered cumin. I probably had it before, didn't know what it was, but boy, is it good on everything. Try it. And it's got no sodium, so you can go nuts with it. It's looking pretty tasty. I'm gonna go ahead and put some cheese in it now. We don't want it to be like a big glob of cheese. We just want it to be a little bit cheesy. I'm gonna use American cheese. You can use cheddar and all kinds of different cheeses. But what I like about American cheese is it's nice and creamy. It's not stringy where you go to eat it and it's stuck to your chin or something like that. So let's melt the cheese down in here. Again, we're just gonna wing it. That's what you're gonna do. It's all what you and your family likes. So let that melt down a little bit. We'll check in a few minutes, and I'm beginning to think that's about it. And the husband's gonna be home soon. We'll see what he thinks about it. Is he ready yet? I'm almost home. All right, let's see how the cheese is melting down. And again, we shouldn't see strings of cheese, we should just see creamy. You can see it starting to melt down now. It's pretty much all melted. And if you don't like cheese and you'd like your cheeseburgers without cheese, then don't put it in there. I'm gonna wait to do the final taste test when Brian gets home. I'm just gonna keep it covered until he gets here. I've turned it off so that it doesn't burn or scorch. And stay tuned for the final tasting with the husband. So the hubby's home. Show him what it looks like.
It looks just like yours. Came out of the same pot.
Does it look good?
It does.
It's a little bit hot, but give it a try.
And it smells good too. So it's cheeseburger soup.
Cheeseburger soup, yes. But I used my ground chicken, potato. I didn't do canned potatoes this time because I just had a real potato. Yeah. And real tomato, not canned, but either way is good. And my pot roast stock, but you can do chicken stock as well. Out of a box, doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's really good. Each bite has a nice big chunk of meat in it.
Let me give it a try. I sort of taste tested it as I went, but I didn't do a final try. And it's tender too, right? The chicken's always tender.
That's really good.
And I even snuck mayonnaise in there. It's like I did in the past. It makes it really creamy.
It's not so good anymore.
I put some American cheese in here too, so it's not stringy. It's nice and creamy. And just all kinds of stuff. Now, do you want to try it with these? This would be kind of like having your bread on it, or do you think that would mess it up?
Yeah, probably not.
Okay, good. And then, we'll just try this since we're here, but this is our side dish. It's the Dolly Parton cornbread. Try it and see what you think.
We like Dolly.
We do. Who doesn't like Dolly? Her cornbread's a little on the sweet side, I noticed, but it's really good.
Yeah, it's really good.
All right, we'll try mine, then we'll go in and finish our dinner. That's really good. Very sweet. So if you like these types of videos, it would be an honor to have you on board. Maybe hit that subscribe button. And thanks so much for watching.